How to grow your business without working more. That's this week on Think Tank Tuesday. Hi, I'm Paul Potratz, and welcome to this week's Think Tank Tuesday. Last week, I had a client visiting, and he said, Paul, I want to grow my business, but I don't want to work anymore. Does that sound like that's a doable thing or not? Well, if you're a business owner or upper management, yes. You want to grow your business, but you don't want to work more. But what's the problem? Where are you running into problems? Well, my client, what he said is, I just feel like that there's a rock in the road, and for some reason, we just can't seem to go around the rock. That we come to the rock and we stop. So if you want to grow your business, you've got to find the rocks in the road. What do I mean? What's causing you from not being able to move on? I'm going to give you some simple tips of things you can do in your own business so you can grow your business without working more. The first one, find the rock in the road. What is stopping you? Do you have salespeople? Do you have internet managers? Do you have managers? Do you have somebody at your dealership that is scared to change? If so, you've got to move that rock. And I'm not saying you fire them or anything like that. I'm saying you have a sit down with them and say, you're the rock in the road. These are the problems, and this is what you've got to change for us to be able to move forward. So get the rock out of the way. The next thing, you got to focus on things you really don't want to focus on. In other words, you've got to make those phone calls that you don't want to make. You know what I'm talking about. We all get those phone calls that come in and we put them off because we're like, we'll get to it, but we never get to it. And I don't really mean as far as a phone call. I'm just using that as an analogy, more or less, that you put those things off because you just don't want to focus on it. Instead, you try to focus on other things that are not going to help your business grow. I see this happen a lot of times with sales managers, that a sales manager's job should be focused on the salespeople and holding them accountable and training and putting process and benchmarks in place and moving those salespeople further down the road. In other words, giving salespeople the tools for them to succeed. Instead, the sales manager tries to focus on the advertising. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You hire an advertising agency to handle your advertising. Your title's sales manager / marketing manager because you want to be a J. Walter Thompson, I guess. I don't know. So as a sales manager, focus on the things that you're put there to focus on. And it's the same thing. If you're the business owner, you've got to focus on things that are important. In other words, pay plans, 401ks. You've got to focus on the things that nobody else can focus on. The next thing you've got to do, set deadlines. It's amazing how hard it is for people to set a deadline. Put it on your calendar and make sure that you're working every day towards that deadline. So on the day of the deadline, you can go, phew, I'm done with that. Now I can move on to the next. The next one is results. I want you to start measuring the results. Don't measure activity, because we've all met people that look so busy and they're working 100 miles an hour. And you're saying, they're working hard. Or you've seen the people, I don't get it. They're leaving early. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Stop it. Look at the results that a person generates. What are they doing to drive revenue for the bottom line? Because I've seen some people that make it look really, really easy. And if we were measuring their activity, we would have thought they were slackers. But they were some of the highest result-driven people I've ever seen. Again, results will affect the bottom line. Activity, that's just busy work. So results is the word I want you to use. The next one is excuses. I've heard it many a times that people have excuses of why they can't do something. So what you've got to do is you've got to decide that you're going to do whatever it takes to keep the ball moving forward. That you will move aside whatever gets in your way, kind of like that rock in the road. So again, no excuses allowed, only results, and making sure that you understand what success looks like. In other words, set the goals. These are the goals we're shooting towards, and make sure everybody in your corporation knows what success looks like. That's this week's tip, and I'll see you next week.